You're listening to the Energy is Love podcast.
Okay, we're rolling now, and we are in our way 98% of the time. You and I get stuck communicating. This is what I feel like today has been, is trying to do our best to articulate and communicate and connect with each other. And sometimes it's just too much.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like we don't need to pick apart and dive into and communicate and express all of these deep things. We can just talk.
Exactly.
That's hard for me right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to try it. We're going to try just talking on the podcast, right?
Well, let's just move.
As opposed to, what else do we do on the podcast besides talking?
We sing. We rap.
Do we?
We do.
Create
art.
I must have missed that episode.
Yeah. I think I rap and you make fun of me. And I'm like, I'm a rapper.
You're a really good rapper.
I am.
You are the best rapper I have ever been in a relationship with. I've never been in a relationship with another rapper as good as you. All the other rappers that I've been in a relationship with paled in the comparison to your ability to rap.
Well, what can I say? When you got it, you got it.
When you got the rhymes, you got the rhymes.
I got the flow.
Please start rapping something. I think that's what you need to do from now on.
I do. And then you tend to make fun of me.
You're going to open every episode with a rap. Do you need a beat? Do you want me to give you a beat?
No.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah?
No.
Okay. No beat.
No.
Okay.
No beat.
We have a thing that we have been trying to talk about on the podcast. I know I've been trying to bring it up on the podcast for the last couple of episodes because it's something that we really like that we have started to implement. Okay. And we want to share it with the world. It's the one to do.
Oh.
Right?
Okay.
What was that look?
I was just like, well, first of all, I didn't know what you were talking about. And then I thought I knew where we were. And you just it curveballed me. You just curveballed me, and yeah, I'm curveballed, but now I'm back in the game. I caught the curveball. I'll catch the next one. Strike one. I'm in it now. I'll get the next one.
Your metaphors. It's kind of apparent that you've never played baseball, but that's okay.
Really? I thought I was doing good. Strike one. I missed the curveball.
Yes.
I struck out. Yes. That's
usually
applicable.
It is applicable, especially when you're at bat. You tend to catch the curveballs instead of try to hit them, but that's okay.
You catch the hitters don't catch.
Exactly. You said I caught.
Oh,
the curveball.
Okay, I can see what you're saying. Yeah.
Strike one. I caught it.
I visually I caught it with awareness.
Are you the catcher
and
the hitter?
And now I'm physically able to step back up to the plate and knock it out of the park.
There you go.
Yeah.
So Stephanie and I are
baseball experts.
Yeah, this is going to be a baseball episode. All baseball metaphors. So when you're on deck.
So this is what you play when you're. Never mind. I was going to go a place that I don't want to go.
Okay.
Okay. Let's keep going.
The to-do list. We all have to-do lists, right? We all have things that we're trying to accomplish and get done in life. Right?
Yeah.
So we had this epiphany recently that we've incorporated. I'm still doing it. Yeah. Although some days it's not. Some days I don't even accomplish this, but.
Okay.
So the idea is I'll try to express it as quickly as I can.
Okay.
Because speed tends to help these things.
Okay. Speed tends to help these things. This was not an advocacy for drugs.
You were expressing to me how
that's some blaming language right there.
You over there, Stephanie.
I corrected.
Did you see that? I was going to go point at you and then I immediately turned it down.
Did you?
Yeah.
Was that subconscious or conscious?
No, consciously. I caught it midpoint and then I went,
You didn't catch the you though. Okay, I'm done with the jokes.
Okay. Done with the jokes.
That wasn't a joke.
I know.
Being serious.
You're a big list lady. You love your lists.
I do.
You write your lists all day long.
So many lists.
My favorite.
I've got lists to make lists.
Yes.
That's not a joke.
So you literally are very, that's how you organize information in your brain and how you tend to try to accomplish goals in your life as you start lists. Do you have one on the back of that paper?
I do, actually. This whole paper is lists, including that.
Nice.
I was also going to talk about like some of the lists that I make, and then you're just going into that. So I'm just a little like, I don't know if I'm like, oh, this is synchronistic, or if I'm being called out. I'm not sure which way we're going here.
Do you want to share some of your lists?
No, please keep talking, and then I'll get to it.
You were expressing to me one morning about how you feel a sense of failure and shame and very critical of yourself when you can't accomplish the things on your list.
Oh, yeah.
And how it's like, I'm always behind, and eventually I just get too overwhelmed, and then I check out and I'm not doing anything on my list. And then the next day I feel less and less worthy of life and liberty and all these kind of different things, right?
I add more and more to the list, create new lists.
Yeah. And you're not getting
have to go back and check off the day before if I don't.
Right. And there's all sorts of little hacks and all sorts of little things when it comes to how to accomplish things in your life, whether it's big goals, little goals, small goals, right? Everybody wants a list. And everybody has a list that they get going, and that's how you go from point A to point B, right? We need a roadmap, we need a list, we need something to accomplish and check off. So I offered up an idea.
You did.
And go ahead.
I just want to say that before that, like everybody, like you were saying, have these ideas, and the last idea I heard before your idea that for me has been transformative.
Yeah.
You are going to get to hear this. But the last idea I heard was this person that was doing a great job, and she like works with ADHD, and like her big thing was time blocks. And my brain broke. It was like, your idea to help people with ADHD and like list overload and it's better time management, because that's a skill we have. So I was just like, whatever, and heartbroken with that. And then Craig comes in.
You don't want to articulate time blocks more?
Okay. Well, I will, because it also plays into how it
you've also been using it in regards to my recommendation.
Well, it became accessible to after your recommendation. And so then this thing that was like, whatever, yeah, I'll just be better organized. I'll just shape up.
Right.
To, oh, now there's a way that I can implement it. So I will get into it.
So I floated this idea of, rather than have a list of things that you're going to accomplish in the day, right? You wake up in the morning and you're like, I'm going to get these 5 things done. I'm going to get these 3 things done. I'm going to accomplish this one big
86 things done.
Right. I have to do laundry. I have to do dishes. I have to do this. I have to do that. I have to do all of these things. So the idea is you pick one. Just one.
Yeah.
That's all. Just one. Not 3, not 5, not half the list. Not 2 things on the list. Just one.
And at first, when you said that, I'm like, I'm never going to get anything done. I'm never going to get this list of 5,000 things done if I'm only picking one. Like when you first said that, I was like, it's not going to work.
Right.
I'm glad you're doing that, but that's not going to work.
Right. But the idea behind it is, when you look at your day, oftentimes it can get overwhelming because we have so many things that we think we need to accomplish and so many things that we need to get done. And by choosing just one thing to put on your to-do list, one thing that you can look back over the course of your day and say, I accomplished this one thing, or you can get a sense of accomplishment when it's done, right? Or maybe you find yourself throughout the day distracted, and they're like, oh shit, well, I'm not even doing the things that I was supposed to be doing today, right? How often does that happen to us? Now
I get so overwhelmed that I'm not doing anything.
Right.
The procrastination takes over, and it's like, what is it called? I think there's a thing for it. Executive dysfunction, I think is what it is. They have a term as where you just cannot.
Got terms for everything.
Right? You just cannot. It's like this total freeze, this total shutdown, and you cannot. And it takes until like things are at their critical moment, their deadline, they are due right now, whatever it is, before you can actually perform that. And so when you like overwhelmed with all of these things that you have to do, you don't know where to start. There's too much to do. So you do nothing until your hand is like forced, until you absolutely have to do something. So just hearing just one thing, it's like, wait, but I have all of these things.
So the idea is, it just gives you, not only does it give you something to focus on if you need something to focus on, it gives you a touchstone throughout your day. And if you lose track, it gives you a sense of accomplishment because you are getting one thing checked off of your list. However, throughout your entire day, you're also doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You're also accomplishing other things. It's not like you do the one thing on the list and then you're just done. And if that's the case, that's okay too. But
that gets to be okay.
what I have found is, so I'll just give the simplest example because it's looked different
it was for you.
every day, depending upon the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes like the example that I want to give is I had the goal, I put on my list that I was going to vacuum our bedroom,
Mm-hmm.
which is very simple. It wasn't a big challenging thing, obviously. And it also didn't seem like it had any significance in regards to like life or healing or becoming a better person or trying to be more present in our relationship. Like it just seemed mundane and silly,
Mm-hmm.
but it was something that had been bothering me. So I put it on the list, and that was my goal that day. That day I accomplished so many different things. I got a ton of stuff done that day, and I vacuumed the room. But I didn't remember until like 4:00 in the afternoon. Like, oh shit, I have to do that one thing on my list still. And then I just did it.
Yeah.
I just stopped what I was doing, made it a priority, and then I vacuumed our bedroom. And I felt better. I felt better after accomplishing that one thing. So the idea is you aren't just doing the one thing. You're doing the one thing and whatever else the day holds. And you're accomplishing other things. But by not limiting, but by allowing yourself the freedom to just put one thing on your to-do list every day, you get more done. Turns out, right? Isn't that what you're finding?
After my like resistance with your one thing that just felt like I would get nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
I had that realization of I'm not doing anything though in these moments, or I have this moment of hyper focus and this manic thing where I run around and I want to do this one thing, but in order to do this one thing, I have to do this first. And the dishes need to be done. Or then it turns into collecting dishes, which turns into actually the garbage needs to be emptied, which turns into there's laundry on the floor and I got to grab that up, which brings into, do we have towels? And like I'm spiraling out, starting like so many things, working my ass off. But because I'm only starting things before I get distracted, I'm accomplishing nothing.
Right.
It's like I work all day and accomplish nothing. It's like I've been working my ass off. I can't see one thing that has been to completion. I've done nothing. And then it's like the in bed and the exhausted, or you hyper focus on one thing and it turns into like an hours and hours and hours, which then you see everything else piling up.
Yeah.
Which then is overwhelmed, which just like this cycle of nothing is working. And so my list that I have is huge, but I put it when you were like, just like really hit this, it like something clicked where I just wanted to try it. I was like, well, if I can get one thing done, then I go from getting nothing done to getting one thing done. And it just like, it started to make sense. So I have this list that has just been driving me crazy. I even put this list into a new space now. So I have lists and then I have a new space with just my focus list, my keep it calm list. And it's like the checkbox is on it, right? I've got the checkbox of these things that I've been procrastinating, and I picked one. And as I went to sit down, I knew that I was going to get that overwhelming. I was going to be on it for hours and hours, and then it was going to just task me out to where I don't feel like I can do anything else. I'm nauseous. So then I brought in the time blocks, which was just for me, my little algorithm of it was 25 minutes of work, like focused right in it, 25 minutes with a timer, and then at least an 8-minute break in between. And I do those 25 minutes 4 times. It can be more, but there has to be a break in between. And the rule for myself was the break had to be something like going outside, drinking water. It had to be an actual break, not 8 minutes to now I'm hitting another task where I start to go crazy on a bunch of different things. So it's 25 minutes here, 8 minutes here. No, it's like, this is my focus. And then I'm taking a break. I can do something else after.
Mm-hmm.
But like that's how my brain made it work. So the first day I tried that. And as I found myself, because you get into those flows, so that 25 minutes, and here it only had 25 minutes. That's all I had to do. That's all I had to sit down. I didn't have to take care of all the other things, because I knew once I started focusing on this one thing, it was going to take all the time. So then I didn't bounce around and start a million tasks, never get into the one thing. I knew I just had 25 minutes. And so I started on it and I felt the flow. But when the timer came up, I held myself to it and I stopped. And so your one thing, I started to be able to actually complete that task. And so the first day when I completed my one thing that I had been procrastinating and putting off, and I got to click it and have that little checkbox, that dopamine hit of I accomplished this, completed this. Like, it felt so amazing. And that is all I did that day.
Yeah.
That was my one thing. Like, I think I showered, I did little stuff, I ate, which sometimes has to be on a list, but, like, that was it. And I felt so good about myself because I'd finally done this thing that has been like nagging me and in the back of my mind that I haven't been looking at, that I've been avoiding, and it's too much and all of these other things that I have to do, which why I couldn't focus on that. But you gave me this one thing. And so now every day I pick from my to-do list and I accomplish one thing. And even if it doesn't complete, because it's a big task, if I've worked on that, that is accomplishing it.
Right.
I've spent that time working on it, which means I am farther than I was. And I am starting to get all these check boxes on my to-do list. And I'm looking at those. I'm like, look at all that I've completed. So I'm feeling accomplished. I'm feeling that reward mechanism that we need is there because I'm accomplishing things. And now when I put something on my list, it doesn't feel overwhelming. It's like, oh, I know I'm going to get to that. I know it's going to be okay. And it's not all of these things I have to do. It's remember to put that so I get to it. And I feel like I'm accomplishing things.
That's so awesome.
I can't believe that worked. It worked. Like, it changed. I mean, give it a shot. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I was like, that's never going to work. One thing is never going to work. I'm never going to get all these things. And I am making a difference in my space, and things are obtainable. And it's been like an ongoing thing. It's like I keep doing it and it keeps working because I only have to worry about one thing.
Right.
And
How
other
nice
things
is
are,
that?
it's so nice.
Just to have to worry about one thing.
It frees up so much space.
Yeah.
To where you are actually doing other things during the day and things are getting accomplished.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not stuff from your list. I have my big like boom, boom list. One thing from that. But now I have all of this other space because I'm not worrying about this list of things that I'm never going to get to. I'm worrying about one thing. And that one thing does not completely encompass my whole day.
Yeah.
That one thing is just those little time blocks.
Just one thing.
Like, you're brilliant. It has changed in my life. Try it. Try it. You might like it. Green eggs and ham. I don't know. Give it a shot. I cannot believe how well that is working for me.
Yeah. You were not a proponent at the beginning.
I
like,
was
what are you
not.
talking
I'm like,
about?
this is like.
Oh, where are you going with this one? I didn't know where I was going with this one either.
Yeah.
Yeah. In my mind, it made sense. So it's helped. It's helped me. Yeah.
Are you feeling as excited about it as I feel like I'm more excited about your idea than you are.
Well, I don't do lists the way that you do lists. I don't have the same, I just don't have a list of things that I'm trying to accomplish. I have that list in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's like, what's in my head today that I need to accomplish on this this never ending list of things that needs to get done. And, so that's where I pick it from. Like on some days I had a day where the thing on my list was connection with you, where it was like, I need to make sure, like that was my list item that day was real, honest connection with you. So then it just became a priority for me on that day. What else have I had on my today? Today I have to create 3 reels that are creatively different than what I have been creating. So it's 3 different reels that are just a shift in focus from the typical thing that we create as far as content goes for Instagram. So that's on my list of what I have to do today. And I'm almost done.
Wow.
I got 2 down and 1 left to go.
And it's only, what, 9:30 a.m. here?
Is it only 9:30?
My thingy is not working. Yep, 9:31.
Yeah.
Boom.
Boom, boom. So that's that idea. That's that tip. Give it a shot, like Steph says, right? It might help. I think it's helped us.
It is. It's also helped like with my brain, like in other areas. So when I get hyper focused, or however, when I'm working on this one thing, like on the computer, and I have to research other things. So you know how I have all these tabs always open on the computer, and I leave them open because I'm not going to remember if they're not there. And so then my computer likes to,
Stop working.
because I have all of these tabs.
How many tabs you got on your phone right now?
Okay, I haven't implemented this on my phone yet because I don't know how to do that yet. Okay. But if you could just let me share my accomplishments, please.
Share away.
So on my computer, instead of having all of these tabs open, when I'm working on this thing and I'm researching here and here and here, so I have all of them open. I've created. Now this could be looked at high road, low road. Okay.
Okay.
But I have folders on my bookmark bar, essentially, more or less. And in the folders, sometimes there's folders in the folders. Like one of the projects that I'm working on now, I have this specific folder for, and it's my like priority project. So it's the very first folder in my folder bar. So I can see that one first. And I have the locations that I'm working on it, but then I have folders in it that are like tools and working on now. So that when I'm doing my research and I have all these tabs open, like say researching like copyright or however, I need to get back to it, but I've hit my mark. I might not be working on this exact thing later. I can't leave all these tabs open. So now I'm throwing them in that folder. I'm bookmarking them in that tool folder so I know which folder it's in. And then when it's closed, so my desktop is now open. And then when that goes back to my to-do list, that's the day, I'm picking up right where I left off because I've got them all there. I can just open them back up instead of being like, I need to leave them open because I'm not going to remember, and being so disorganized with that.
Did we find a brain hack for you?
We totally found a brain hack for me. You found a brain hack. Now, low road of that, I've also been like, is this computer doom boxes? But I'm like, no, because instead of not going to it, which I do have folders on my bookmark that I'm like, what was I doing here? I don't even know why did I have this page open? Is this a Google search? I have Google searches saved as bookmarks.
Oh, and I'm that's like, helpful.
Okay. So I have a list of things to click on. So I haven't cleaned out my folders because I didn't know how to really work them. But now, like, you've got a brain hack for me. This is like biohacked Steph's neurological fuckery, and I'm accomplishing things, and I'm seeing, and I'm knowing where things are. It is like you figured out my algorithm.
Nice.
So maybe it's your algorithm, maybe it's not, but give it a shot, and if it works, then you're welcome. Welcome to the Brain Hack Club. And if it doesn't, cool. You just keep looking. Maybe this will be that thing that you think won't work, and the next thing you hear is the key that unlocks it, like the time blocks. I'm like, that's a horrible idea.
Right.
Yeah. Or maybe just try it. One thing a day.
Just one thing a day.
One thing a day.
You know, it can be today I'm going to accomplish going to the gym.
Yeah.
That's it. One thing a day. Today I'm going to do the dishes. I'm going to mow the backyard. I'm going to go for that walk. I'm going to make that phone call. Today I'm going to start my book. Whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to vacuum the bedroom.
I'm going to vacuum the bedroom.
Right. It doesn't.
It's a good hack.
It is a good hack.
I find it very useful, very helpful.
It has seriously freed up so much. And I feel like just that has given me, it's like it's cleaned some of the windows, right? Mm-hmm. Some of the lenses. So I can start to see things now before that I haven't seen. Like, you have given me shit for years about when I wash an apple and I put the sticker on the sink, so I remember to throw it away, and then I forget. Like, it's not the first time you have like either been irritated with the stickers on the sink, because even though I do another apple and I see it and I see the stickers there, and then maybe if you left them there, right? But they magically disappear. So what happens if they're not in my line of
Do you know
sight?
what happens if they get left there? They just stack
Maybe,
up.
probably.
So now there's two
It's just
stickers,
that-
one on top of each other.
Okay,
and then
it's
there's
okay.
3.
It's okay.
and
I got a good thing. I got a good thing that I'm getting to. So while you're getting upset, it's okay. It's okay. You have given me shit. And the last time you gave me shit about it, I was like getting pissed. I was like, that's what you're going to pick on me for? And then you're like, why can't you just walk them over to the garbage and throw them away? And it's like the same reason that I can't, like, when you're like using the bathroom and the toilet paper's empty, I have to put the toilet paper on, like set it on top of the empty roll. I'm not going to put it on like and change it, because I don't like, I want to wash my hands before I change the roll and get all touchy all over the new roll.
Okay.
I cannot like the thought of like, if I'm not going to change the roll until I've washed my hands, and then yes, I wash them again, but I can't like, I'm not going to manhandle a new roll before I wash my hands.
Okay.
That's just like, that makes my brain hurt.
Okay.
So I just set it on top so I won't forget. Because I know when I wash my hands, it's gone. I have forgotten that roll. But when I come back to use the bathroom,
Then you see it.
I see it and then I put the roll on.
So is that your same thought process with the stickers?
I'm just saying that's a system that I have found, right? Hold on.
Okay.
It gets better. So I have a system. I grab the apple, take the sticker off right there, wash it so that I can go throw it away.
Yes.
And then I never throw it away because I forget.
Yes.
So when you were walking over to the garbage and throwing it away, it like clicked. I'm like, why don't I do that first? And so I've had 3 apples now where this has worked, where I grab the apple, peel it off, walk to the garbage first before I wash it.
Nice.
I throw it away and then I come back over and I wash my apple and then I eat it. And it works. So it's just that little thing of, I didn't see the stickers. This is the pattern that I have to do this. It didn't like click. It was out of sight, out of mind. I wasn't able to see it anymore. And I just had to like, oh, I feel like this, like I could shift that pattern just a little bit.
What's one of the things
I could put the sticker in the garbage first.
What's one of the things
I'm
that I
a
do?
little Oh God.
That's amazing. I'm glad
Hair.
that hair.
Hair.
Tell me what that is. Help me understand. I understand what you're saying. I know what you're going to say. I tend to just comb my hair and then throw the hair everywhere.
Everywhere. Right now, maybe I don't, which is hair. We'll leave it there. I don't need to
go
call you
ahead.
out.
It's not calling me out. I think it's funny. It's the little my goodness. Let's pause for the next 15 minutes while Craig tries to pronounce this word. Do you know the word? Can you pronounce the word?
Yes.
Idiosyncrasies.
Idiosyncrasies.
There you go. Secrecies.
Idiocracies.
Idiosyncrasies.
We're idiots. No, we're not. Yeah. It's the cute little quirks.
Idiosyncrasies.
That's not it.
It's syncrasies.
Is it so fuck?
Syncrasies. Idiosyncrasy.
Okay.
Okay, now we're sidetracked a bit. Okay, so yes, there's those little cute, quirky things that only you and I know about each other.
Toothpicks.
I leave toothpicks everywhere.
Everywhere. There's little.
Does that become a... Like, what happens when you see one of my toothpicks everywhere?
Nothing. You're fine.
You're fine too when you leave stickers on the sink, but there's times when it annoys me, right? So, like, now at this point in our relationship, with as long as we've been together, we are both very well aware
I'm not walking into this trap.
There is no trap here.
There's a trap. There's a trap.
It's a very cute thing.
It's a trap.
And, like, some of them, I think over the course of our relationship, some of those little cute things that are just quirky about the other person, but have been too much for, like...
Oh, these things aren't too much for me.
Exactly.
This isn't that.
Right?
Okay, so
where
those
we've just
don't
learned to
qualify.
accept them and love them.
Yeah.
But the ones that have become too much, then they have to... they have to change.
They have to change.
Do you know what I mean? Or do they not? What do you think?
I don't know. I think that I think there's balance there. I think there's things that like, yeah, I can see things and like the way that I was fixated, like the Apple routine that made sense to me, even though it wasn't working. I was stuck in that loop, and that's just the way it was. To now seeing it different, like that's helpful, but also not expecting the other person to change up all of their things to accommodate your neurodivergent fluctuations.
Right.
Because like it's not like I don't have to change who I am so you can stand me. It's either stand me or don't. And there's things that I can improve on. And you don't have to change who you are so I can stand you. I either stand you or I don't. But there's things maybe you could improve on. And I'm using really harsh language here.
I don't think it's harsh.
I think I'm using okay. Well.
No, I think it's the realities of relationships, right?
Yeah.
Where there comes a point in a relationship where those things that are cute and quirky and aren't a big deal, like they fluctuate over time in history, where sometimes they become like we have to make an agreement with each other, even in a subconscious way. Like it's much better if you do it consciously, where it's the agreement is we're going to compromise.
Yeah.
There's going to be things that I do that drive you nuts, like my toothpicks everywhere.
Yeah. And there's the whole other, like our personalities. There's things that are our personalities, our behaviors that are definitely like more challenging than toothpicks and apple stickers.
Right. But the toothpicks and apple stickers are like the tip of the spear. They're the point that they're not the tip of the spear. That's a terrible metaphor and use for this context. But they are the things where you can practice compromise and acceptance.
Yeah.
Like I would see the stickers on the sink and some days I would just leave them there and it's not a big deal and I wouldn't let them bother me. And then on the days that they would bother me, I would just throw them away.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't something that even when we were silly about it the other day, it wasn't something that was really, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
It's, sometimes depending upon the mood that I'm in, it will aggravate me and bother me. But I have another part of me inside that's just like, it's not a big deal. If it really bothers me, throw it away. Yeah. Peel the sticker off and throw it in the garbage.
I have a truth for you.
Okay.
I don't really give a shit about the toothpicks. They don't really bother me. What bothers me about it is if that was me, if it was reverse, it would bother you about me. So it's like, I wouldn't be like, it would irritate you if I was doing it, but you're fine to do it. And so it's that like, that dynamic that really gets me the most. So I see that and I'm just like, basically my thought is I couldn't get away with that. And so that's why it irritates me, because you get to, but it would irritate you if I did it. And that's what irritates me.
That's
There's
interesting.
a truth. Yeah, there it is.
What does that make you feel?
Well,
like what's the thing underneath
right
that?
now I'm feeling a little petty about it, but also kind of like it's kind of frustrating. It's kind of frustrating. It feels like that. Like that's a theme. That's a current where it's like, it's okay for you, but not okay for me.
Right.
And
that if I did something like that, then I wouldn't be loved.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have the same acceptance that I'm giving him in this moment. And
I also like to take it a little bit further. I feel like you feel, I don't know, right? Because I can tell you're like honing in right now. I'm like, oh, well, I don't know. Well, we'll just go with it. This is the truth. So I said I have a truth. It wasn't easy. I feel like you have kind of an arrogance about it in a sense. You're like, yeah, I can leave this around here. Look at all the things I do. Like, I feel like you acknowledge that you get to and nobody else does.
Wow.
I mean,
You've got
I don't
a whole story
know.
in your
I
head
do.
subconsciously about these toothpicks.
So I see the toothpicks and I'm just like,
I have the same subconscious stories in my head about certain things too.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Tell me. Oh, this is cool.
I don't know if it's cool. Let's see if it ends up being cool.
We're seeing things that we haven't seen. This is going to help like us. Yeah, it's cool. Even if it hurts, it's cool.
The top of our washing machine / dryer area.
Yeah.
Now
I keep cleaning that, by the way. People
maybe
keep
this isn't a good
stacking
example
stuff.
because I tend to not do a lot of laundry in this house. that's another thing too, where it seems like if I'm not the one that's doing the chore, then I shouldn't be able to complain about how it's being done. But like, for example, maybe that's not a good example. I'm scared to articulate some things now.
Maybe it is a good example. That's where you went. So let's go with it.
Well, no, I'm trying to tap into that concept or that thing that you're expressing of like the arrogance of me to just think I can throw my toothpick wherever I want. I can leave my toothpicks around no matter what.
And obviously it's more than that, but that's like
that I don't have any arrogant thought process to it.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of like, I'm just do whatever I want, regardless of how it affects the people around me.
I guess that I get that because you slam things when you're mad at me, like the dishes. Like you'll put dishes on both sides of the sink, but then when you decide that you're irritated with dishes on both sides of the sink, like I don't know how we have any dishes because it sounds like you just slam them into the other side, all pissed off. And I'm like, that was your fucking dish. I saw that because I mental noted that because you get mad at me and I'm like, haha, that is your dish. Those were your enchilada Tupperware bowl. So I guess I feel like that arrogance because you do it and it's okay. But when somebody else does it, you get mad or it appears that you're mad. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
And there's zero like truth to that. You're not feeling righteous in that sense of you get to. It's just like that's how that's the story that I've created around it.
In some ways.
Okay.
Like in that context and in that example, the dishes I don't know. This all feels like very dangerous territory.
It does feel like dangerous territory.
Which means it's probably important territory. Because these are like the subconscious things that play out in our relationship. Yeah. You'll do the dishes. Uh-huh. Like, I love it. I love it when you do the dishes. Like if our kitchen's really dirty and we've cooked some meals and it's been a couple of days and, you know, there's a couple of dirty pans that need to be washed. And not only does the
I hate washing pans.
Sinks need to be emptied and all that kind of stuff. But like the kitchen's a little bit messy. And you'll do the dishes. And sometimes you don't wash the pans.
Like I said, I hate washing pans.
Sometimes
I stopped seeing them.
Sometimes you'll leave them soaking in the sink, which the narrative in my head is like you just eliminated 50% of the sink. So now we are trying to cram more dirty dishes into the side of the sink that the garbage disposal is on. Or you'll leave them on the stove.
Because that's where you tell me to leave them because you get pissed off when they're in the sink.
Or you'll do all the dishes, but then you don't clean the counters or wipe up the stove or wipe anything off.
I find that false.
So the story in my head around all of that is like, you know, it's so funny because like, I don't think in your mind, you're not thinking like, I mean, sometimes it's like, I don't want to do the pots and the pans, right? I don't want to wash these dishes. And I get that too.
Yeah.
I do that sometimes too. But I think sometimes we're so caught up in our head and the story that's playing out in our head isn't like, I'm not going to clean the stovetop and wipe off the stovetop. You're just not in that headspace. You're busily distracted elsewhere. And so it falls to the wayside.
It also depends on if you come back into the room or not.
Well, hold on. Let me finish fleshing out this.
Okay.
Because the narrative in my head is, why did you stop? Like, this job that you were doing isn't complete. You didn't finish what you were doing. And now I have to come and finish it. Oh. And it's kind of the similar thing, just in a different context where, you know, I'm going to leave my toothpicks laying around because of the arrogance of thinking that I can just do that and somebody will clean up after me. Right. But it's kind of the same thing where I feel like I don't feel like you do the not cleaning of the stove because you're arrogant and you know that I'll just clean up after you. I feel like you are distracted and lost in your mind. And so you space cleaning the stove. But at the same time, like that to you doesn't equal a clean kitchen. But to me, if I'm going to do the dishes and clean the kitchen, it means all the dishes are done, including all the pots and pans, and all the countertops and or cooking surfaces have been wiped and cleaned. But that's not what equals a clean kitchen to you. That's just what equals a clean kitchen to me.
I also do that.
Yes.
And not. Can I speak to this?
Please.
Like, this is a big deal.
Please.
I see that. There's a couple of things that I want to like bring attention to with it. I feel like I do that a lot. Like I clean, like obviously, like wiping it down, and sometimes you notice and sometimes you don't. And it's just like, it's whatever. Like I a lot of things I do go unnoticed, except for when I do things wrong. Those get noticed. But to speak to this, like specifically, you are like, that totally happens. That totally happens. And I feel like there's two strong reasons. I get nervous sometimes if my anxiety is high and I'm in an area and then you come in because you work at the kitchen table and this, I feel like sometimes I struggle with making noise around you. It's like I like to have music on or audiobooks, or like I'm learning something. I've got YouTube going and I'm working on the kitchen. That's usually when I'm like set up shop there. And then when other people come into the space, I'm like, oh, I'm now noisy. I'm now taking up too much space. I'm now like, I have to get out of it because I'm not allowed to occupy that. And it feels weird to be there. The energy shifts and I feel like I'm a bother. I got to get out of here. I can't make the noise. So that's like the anxiety and other things. But like at the beginning of this podcast, I talked to you about how my brain works and how I start this, get distracted with this, go like, and I'm doing a million things and feeling like I'm not accomplishing anything. Like this plays into it. It's not that I'm just like, something else has caught my attention and off I went. Like it takes me a while to circle back around to where I was. And by the time if I do circle around and see it, I'm exhausted because I've started like so many tasks. I've been busy that it just like, I get squirreled. So like, I'm sorry that drives you crazy. I'm doing my best with it. But I get squirreled and it's really hard for me to complete things when something else grabs my attention. Sometimes that's you. Sometimes it's you pulling me in this way. Sometimes it's Asher. Sometimes it's, oh, the dog just didn't make it outside and she shit on the floor and I got to clean that up. And sometimes it's, I have something pop into my head and it's a spark and it's like, oh, I've got to look that up, or I'm going to do this, or, oh, I remember. It just doesn't matter. It is really, really hard to keep my thoughts straight. So like, I'll do my best, but it might not be in my wheelhouse. I'll keep trying. Maybe this one a day will shift that too. Maybe it won't. I don't know.
Does it feel like I brought this up as a way to complain about something?
Kind of. I kind of like, no, not complain about something. I think it's like, I don't know. I definitely feel like I feel bad about it.
Yeah.
You know? And then I'm also kind of mad about it. You know? I feel like there's dynamics that are kind of like crappy. And then there's dynamics that aren't. I think we have like a really good system. And then I think sometimes our system gets shifted into expectations that can be like held against the other person in a way. So I just think there's work to do there.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. Are you aware that you like leave stuff everywhere? Are you aware
Sometimes.
that or is it just like an absent-minded thing?
It's the 99% of the time it's absent-mindedness.
And see, that's good to hear.
99% of the time it's my brain isn't thinking of that.
Yeah.
Like my hair, I'll sit at the kitchen table and I'll comb my hair in the morning and or I'll be doing something and because I have long, luxurious, beautiful curly hair, but it's thick. And as I run my hands through my hair, undoubtedly I get something on my hand, right? I get a hair on my hand. And because of my OCD, I have to get that off of my body.
I know, you just like drop it.
But I don't just drop it on the floor from this place of like,
don't worry, she'll get it later.
That's not at all what it is.
Yeah.
It is, I have to get this off of me.
Okay.
I have to get this thing off of my body. So I have to like get it off of me.
Yeah.
And then I don't think, oh, I'm responsible for cleaning that up. My brain has already shifted somewhere else because I got that thing off of me. And so it's not this place of she'll pick it up. It's Stephanie's job to come up after me and pick up all of my toothpicks and pick up all of my hair. And I can't bother myself to do that because I'm...
Look at this bitch leaving stickers on the sink. Like,
you know, that's not where it's coming from. It's just it's an OCD reaction.
Yeah. All of this is like...
These little nuances, these little like trigger things that happen in relationships can become big issues that people get stuck on. We've gotten stuck on these things before, but it's like, can we see the underlying thing that is underneath it all? And can we also communicate those things?
Have you ever done them passive aggressively?
All the time.
All the time. Okay, good.
Yeah.
I have too. There was my go-to one that I used to do because you would want the forks a certain way in the drawer. Like you had them like, and so every once in a while.
The forks in the drawer, what is that?
That's how you liked, that's OCD. But now it's shift and you don't care. And now I care. Ash, I care because Asher like organized them and I want to show him that we appreciate his gesture. But the funny part that I'm like, the passive aggressive is like you had to have them a specific way. And I would sometimes get pissed off at you. And that would be my like way I would take it out. I would come in and like mess up the forks and leave them and just watch your brain when you would open the drawer, and sometimes you would fix it right there. And sometimes you would just like leave it. And so I would just monitor until you came around to finally fix them. And then I was like, got him. Like that's totally petty and passive aggressive.
So your passive aggressiveness manifests in me as loudly shifting all the dishes in the sink.
So you are doing that angrily at me. I've
You're
been trying to convince, I haven't done that in years. It was an old thing. I've been trying to convince
and that was the only thing. It was only that
I've only been passive aggressive once in our relationship. So
there's nothing else.
That was the one time that I was passive aggressive.
I fixed it. I cured it. Saw it. I'm more mature than that now.
I was, I guess so
you're passive aggressive and I'm just outwardly aggressive. I don't have to do it passively.
Yeah. Could you be a little more passive?
I'm very really passive sometimes.
I don't know. Like, what do we do here? I didn't think that we had any like real issues around these things. I thought that at times of stress, they were a thing, but it turns out this might be something for us to look at. Well,
they become bigger issues during times of stress.
Yeah.
Like when we're activated and when we're triggered and when we're like, I come in, when I say come in, like it's, oftentimes it's like if I'm outside working, the past few weeks I've had to do quite a bit of work on our vehicles. And so I come in and I like to wash my hands in our kitchens. I mean, this is silliness, right?
You walk right past the bathroom to go to the kitchen sink.
But the reason I go to the kitchen sink is because that's where the good Dawn dish soap for washing grease off of my hands is. Like the fact that I wash my dirty, greasy car hands in our kitchen sink is terrible.
We sound like really gross people.
I know.
Like they're going to be like, this is a hoarder's house. This is like, it's not.
It's a hoarder's house.
Like we sound terrible. Like if I'm going to go back and listen, like that's what it sounds like. There's hair everywhere. There's there's no toilet paper on the rolls. It's just sitting on top. You cannot eat at everybody's house.
But this is the thing. All of these little, all of this stuff is, I think, a manifestation of like my internal nervous system and my internal emotional state and my internal mental state. So my OCDs, the things that I have cultivated in my life to give myself structure and comfort are vastly different than yours.
They are, and that sucks so bad.
Right? They're not the same.
How nice would it
And
be if we were like on that same system, but we are opposite?
I'm very grateful that we're opposite. If we were on the same system, our house would look like a fucking shit show.
Okay,
quarter
maybe, yeah.
house of chaos, right?
Okay.
So it's a good thing that we're on the opposite ends of the spectrum.
Okay.
But can we see that that's what that is in that individual?
Can we? We can. Can we?
And
That was passive.
that was
That
passive
was
aggressive.
Right there. That was the second time.
Only twice. And be able to see through those things and not let those things get us caught up. And then if they become really, like, there are some, I'm trying to think of an example of some stuff that we've really shifted and changed. I think the dishes, not necessarily in the context of them in the sink, but like there are certain things that we've had to, there's certain things that I've let go of because they became roadblocks in our relationship, and they were things that may have been manifestations of my neuroses.
Mm-hmm.
But I was able to let them go because I recognized that they were a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if I really thought that my hair, I try to do my hair. I try to do it more consciously. I try to pick it up.
Yeah.
I try to collect it
Yeah.
as I'm pulling it off of my head and not leave it around.
Yeah.
I make an effort. It probably goes vastly unnoticed because the truth of it is,
I don't see when it's not there. I just see when it is there.
and not only that, but the effort that I'm making is very minimal.
Yeah.
It's not a massive focus. It's, I try to remember, and sometimes I'll remember to collect it,
Mm-hmm.
but I
And
don't
then leave
remember
it
to get
there.
it in the garbage.
Yeah.
I don't remember to get it taken care of, right? Just as you're like, I have a system for these stickers,
Right?
and then they just pile up.
Not now, 3 days in a row. I feel like I have cracked that Apple sticker hack.
Yes.
We'll see.
But they're one and the same, right? It's the
They
same
are.
thing.
But I'm really not mad at you for the hair. I just feel like I told you what I was feeling was that it was like a arrogance and like a,
I'm
but
not
it
really
wasn't.
mad at you for the
Yeah.
stickers.
well, I want you to hear that too. Like I see that now. Like we've clarified some things.
You said something earlier that I think is really important as well.
What did I say?
The
Thank you
vast
for saying you're
majority
not
of
really
what
mad
I
at me
do
for the
goes,
stickers.
the vast you're
Thank
welcome. You're welcome. They're not a big deal.
Live.
And I will still take them from the sink and throw them in the garbage for you.
I think I've cracked that hack. I think I've got that now. We'll see. Every
Yes.
time I'm like,
We'll
it
celebrate
makes
it
sense
next
now.
week on the podcast.
I feel like we should. Check it. Dopamine hit. Apple sticker fixed.
Earlier you said the vast majority of what I do goes unnoticed unless I do it wrong. And then it gets noticed. Right? That's what you said.
Yeah.
That's very profound. Like that's a subconscious program inside of you. And that's the way that you're moving through life.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of what would be the equivalent of mine. Because in some ways I feel the same way, where the vast majority of what I do, like when I say that, I mean like the good things that I do. It's exactly the same. I feel exactly the same.
You feel exactly the
I feel
same.
exactly the same.
That sucks.
I feel like all you highlight and all you focus on and all you see is the things that I fuck up.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Is that the I did not have awareness of that. I felt like I gave you a lot of acknowledgments and like praise, but I hear that so deeply, and that will change today. You will hear that a lot more because you deserve to, as you do so much.
So
And I value-
because I brought this up not as an effort to get my acknowledgement and recognition.
But that's okay, isn't it?
It is okay.
Okay. Like you matter too, Craig. We both matter. We both get this. We can hear it for each other, can't we?
Are you able to receive and hear and accept and sit with.
I don't know, projector, deflector right there. I'll give that a shot. You deflected that really fast too. So for both of us, are we able to receive that? Don't feel surprised. I literally gave you praise. I heard you. I acknowledged it.
And you did not even remotely close let the realization of the statement of this is how you move through life resonate, sink in,
I didn't.
in any way, shape, or form.
I heard that that's how you feel. And I wanted to.
That's how you feel.
That is how I feel.
Those words came from you.
Yes.
Those are your words. That's how
and
you
you
feel.
Also agreed with them. Did I misunderstand you, or were you deeply resonating with those words?
Okay. Let's push pause for a moment.
I don't want to push pause.
I
I want
know
to
you
keep
don't.
going.
I know. You want to keep going in this fun, playful energy of dealing with this really hard, challenging truth.
Yeah, I like doing it. And I like the fact that we're still able to smile and giggle our way through it while we are uncovering things.
Okay. Well, can we smile and giggle our way through it while we sit in?
All of a sudden.
You got a really bad headache all of a sudden?
Or am I able to smile and giggle?
I have a take on your headaches that came from the chakra book that I want to share with you off camera.
Cool.
I think it sucks that you feel that way.
Thank you. I don't know what to say.
It makes me really sad. Like there's so many times when I think of you as a little girl. And I don't mean that like in a weird way. It's just like I see the manifestations of all sorts of different stuff from the time when you were a little kid, and they play out in our life now. And I'm just like, fuck, that sucks that you feel that way. That the vast majority of things that you do go unnoticed unless you do something wrong.
That's kind of how I heard that right there. So you're like, not in a weird way. I'm like, I heard you saying like, you're being a child, being immature. Knock it off, grow up.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
It's like, it's sad that that's a program that you have.
Well, yeah.
You do so many amazing things. And you do so much for me and for our family and for our life. And you have so much value and so much worth. And you're really, really, really good at the things that you do.
Thank you.
I could give you a huge list that has taken place in the last 48 hours.
Oh, yeah? Can we do that off camera? I'm feeling pretty awkward right now.
Right? It's really hard to sit in.
Yeah, it is.
And I know that feeling.
Yeah.
I can resonate with it.
Yeah.
It's really, really hard for me to sit in. Accepting praise from you is so challenging.
Yeah.
Like super hard. I don't like it.
Why do you think?
Why do I think it's hard?
Yeah.
Is because it's not something that's easily trusted.
Yeah.
It seems, not that it seems, the program is that it's not real.
Yeah.
You're telling me that I've done a good job, when really I know what you really think. And the truth of the matter is I haven't done a good job. The truth of the matter is I'm still failing.
Yeah.
Right? I'm still struggling. So it's not trust. It's hard to trust.
Yeah.
That's why it doesn't feel good. It's love.
Yeah.
Right? You're giving me love and affection. And I'm like, thanks. That doesn't feel good. Right? Same.
Fucking programming. You see what my reminder is?
What's your reminder that just popped up? Craig, I value you.
And then I elaborate on that.
So we need to keep practicing, turns out, in all of our little idiosyncrasies. Damn it. As I was preparing the sentence in my head, I'm like, you're going to do it. You're going to do it.
I think that's it. Should we Google
No, it wasn't it.
Okay.
There's no need to Google and reiterate that I got it wrong. I know I got it wrong.
Well, maybe not.
I know I got it wrong.
Okay.
You don't need to try to bolster my ego in this moment. I know I said the word wrong.
Let's see my reminder. I got one for me.
Look at that. Steph, you have nothing to prove. You are perfect the way you are.
That sounds like a narcissist. Oh, God, that's scary when you say it out loud. I'm just like, whoa, okay.
That sounds like somebody that really values themselves and sees their worth.
I am trying really hard.
Yeah,
I have to remind myself that frequently. Let's move.
Let's
move.
We are moving. Let's move. Yes, we're done. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Hopefully you gathered something from this episode of idiosyncrasies. Idiosyncrasies. Hard words. Words hard say. That's what this episode is. Okay. Words hard say.